Hey, sister friends. Welcome back to Courageous Fit Female. It is Jacqueline Castro here. I see that you're doing all the things to lose weight, and I see that you're trying to stay the course when it comes to being healthy. But did you know that there is a way you should be eating in your 40s if you want that to happen? Today, if you're eating whatever you want like you did years ago, I'm just going to break it to you. Spoiler, it's going to hurt you and your health more than help you. So we know that there are so many possibilities and reasons why you aren't having the energy that you want, but what you're eating could be one of those big reasons. And that's what we're going to talk about in this episode. Because over and over again, you start and you restart, but you still find yourself stuck and feeling uncomfortable in your body, no matter what you do. And I get it, sister. But I'm here to tell you that nothing is wrong with you, but B-U-T. Okay? If you want to change, something's got to change. So that's what we're going to do in this episode. My goal is to help you walk towards that change. So tune in for the 4 tips that you need to know to lose weight and stay healthy. Hey, mama and friend of Jesus. Welcome to Courageous Fit Female. Do you want to get healthy and feel comfortable in your body? Are you up late at night Googling how to have more confidence? And are you afraid you're never going to lose the weight? Do you wake up with ambitious health goals but never seem to have the time to work out or meal prep? Hey, I'm Jacqueline Castro. I am a follower of Jesus, a wife, a mom of 2, and a Christian health coach. I too wanted to be healthier for my kids and wished to be energetic and motivated. I wanted to have confidence within myself, feel comfortable in my body, and stop being so self-conscious. But I was afraid of change and afraid of going back to the gym. I told myself that I could figure things out on my own, but I kept failing. Until I found the secret to getting healthy and being comfortable in my body in my 40s. I'll teach you how to slowly get back to being active, eat food that's healthy for you, and help you to partner with God in the journey. If you're ready to stop constantly tugging at your shirt and hiding behind others in photos, then grab your Bible and notebook and let's dive into today's episode. Straight away, I'm going to ask you to pull out your Bible, if you're able to, and turn to the book of 1 Timothy chapter 4, and in verses 7 through 9, I'm going to read that to you now. It says, "But reject profane and old wives' fables, and exercise yourself toward godliness." Verse 8, "For bodily exercise profits a little, but godliness is profitable for all things, having promise of the life that now is and of that which is to come." Verse 9, "This is a faithful saying and worthy of all acceptance." I felt led to share that verse before we get started because I'm sharing all these tactical things for you guys as far as what you should do to, or what you should eat in your 40s to lose weight and stay healthy. And it's great. We need to put in the effort and do these things to have the end results, right? To do the processes. But we need to be reminded that God's work and plans for us and the eternal promises and his nature and his character and all the above and all the other things that I'm not even mentioning about Christ has already been won on the cross. Everything that he did for us, he did it so that we can honor him and glorify him in all things that we do. So when we do get to that point of, or even when we don't feel healthy, if you're not feeling healthy right now, if you don't feel like you have the energy to do X, Y, and Z, it doesn't mean that you can't glorify God in all things, right? Yes, it's important to take care of our health. And when we steward our bodies for the kingdom and to do the work that God calls us to do, that is something that can easily turn into an idol, right? It can be something that we elevate and pay attention to more than the eternal things, the spiritual things. So verse 7, where it says, "But reject profane and old wives' fables, and exercise yourself toward godliness." We must do that. These are things that the Lord is telling us to do. He's telling us to reject profane and old wives' fables. It doesn't say reject keto and reject all these things. Like some of these things might work for you, it might not. But when we put our hope and our faith in those things, then we're forgetting about what has already been done on the cross for us. And we just need to be reminded about that. So I wanted to make sure that you get that through your earbuds and pray over it. Think about what we're doing when we're trying to get healthy, why we want to feel good, who is our identity in, what is our identity in. So 1 Timothy 4, 7 through 9, if you haven't journaled anything in your Bible journal today, or if you haven't spent time with the Lord, or you're wondering what should I do next, then I encourage you to pray or journal over these things and think about it as you are going about your health journey throughout this day, throughout the week, and see how the Holy Spirit prompts you and moves you and convicts you even how and why to take the next step when it comes to being healthy. Okay, so now getting into the episode, we're going to talk about 4 different tips that you must know when it comes to being in your 40s, what you should eat to lose weight and stay healthy. So the first and foremost thing, number 1, is I called it, what is your healthy? Because everyone is different. Everyone has different tolerances, and everyone has to remember that. When you find a program that has a meal in a box, it doesn't mean that just because it's labeled healthy, that it's healthy for you. So for example, if you haven't heard of something called nightshade vegetables, those are things like eggplants, peppers, tomatoes, potatoes, and that is of the nightshade family. There's something in those nightshade vegetables that some claim it aggravates their arthritis pain and creates inflammation because of a chemical that's contained in it called solanine. And it's true for some, it's not true for all. So you need to test it for yourself by eliminating it and then slowly reintroducing it back into your diet. It's not something that's scientifically proven, so testing it for yourself really is a must. And I found all this information on arthritis.org on the Arthritis Foundation website. But when it comes to the nightshade vegetables, you can experience bloating and gas and diarrhea and mood swings, constipation and things like that. And it's very hard to pinpoint, right? Like why we're getting certain symptoms. But basically, when I say number 1, the number 1 tip that you must know is what is your healthy, is to really ask yourself and assess, take an inventory of what it is that actually makes you feel good. If you have specific things that are going on in your body, if you have arthritis, or if you have whatever condition that your body is fighting or facing or trying to survive on, or survive through rather, then we need to be mindful that spinach might not be the best for you. Kale might not be the best for you. Whatever, insert the blank, that society and diet culture says is a health food, then that might not be healthy for you. So what is your healthy? Think about what that is. And a simple way to evaluate this for yourself is to just take note, at least for a week or 2, write down everything you're eating and take a note of if you're feeling bloated afterwards and whatnot. Simple things like that. So that's number 1, is what is your healthy? Because there's no such thing as health in a box. It needs to be customized to you. Okay. Number 2, moving on, is to track your carbs and your fruits. Because sisters, I'm just telling you right now that think about a piece of fruit. So a fruit is also considered a carb. There's sugar in fruit, right? So sugar is considered a carb. And regardless if you're eating a fruit and you eat tons of it and you're like, okay, it's natural. Well, spoiler on that. Fruits, natural or not, there's still sugar in it. So we need to be cautious and mindful about how much of an intake of sugar we are consuming on a daily basis and even on a meal-to-meal basis. I've seen some people make smoothies, like fruit smoothies, and they literally put like 3 servings in one blended cup at home. And it's crazy because we deceive ourselves, right? It's because of the things that we see on Instagram or on YouTube, on Facebook, or some fitness influencer sharing a picture of a smoothie, and you're like, oh, let me just try making this too. Whether you follow their recipe or you don't. Regardless of that, we tend to overdo on the fruits. And then we add in honey, and then you add in a banana, right? Whatever. There's so much sugar in that, guys. So we need to make sure that we track our carbs and our fruit every time we eat it. So just to give you a small guideline on this, in your 40s, a half a cup of fruit cut up fruit is a serving of fresh fruit. And if it's a frozen type of fruit, then 3/4 of a cup could be a serving for that. And I also want to make sure that I pass this along to you. It's something that I've learned from one of my coaches. And it's about how much you eat per, I've shared this before in another episode too, but it's about how much carbs you eat per meal. So if you're eating 3 meals per day, which I hope you are, then your first meal of the day, it should be 1 serving of carb. At lunchtime, it should be 2 servings of carbs. And then at dinner time, it's 3 servings of carbs. And there's a scientific reason behind that. So as you wake up, you have specific hormones that come into play, and some are more, some are less. And I'm not going to get into all this scientific stuff, but you just need a little bit of carbs. So for me, what that looks like is when I make a protein smoothie in the morning for my breakfast, I just put a half a cup of fruits or 3/4 cups of frozen blueberries in my smoothie. And that's just for breakfast. And then for lunch, I have whatever I have, my protein and my veggie. But then for the carbs part, I do 2 servings of brown rice. So 2 half cups of brown rice. And then for dinner, I have 3 cups of carbs. And that looks like 2 servings of brown rice, which is 2 half cups. So that equals to 1 cup. And then I have 1 more serving left for dinner, right? So sometimes I choose a fruit, like 3/4 cup of frozen pineapples or half a cup of fresh fruits. So track your carbs. That's number 2. And remember that fruit is also considered a carb. So be mindful of how much you're intaking. Because remember, guys, we should not be eating the same things or the same way or in the same amount as we did when we were younger. And for obvious reasons, our hormones have shifted and it is not behaving. It's not behaving the same way as it does or as it did when we were younger. So be mindful of that. And now moving on to number 3, the third tip that you should know about as far as eating in your 40s to lose weight and stay healthy is to make protein your best friend. So we have at this age, guys, we have an inability to use all the protein that we eat. So if you're just eating like a 2-ounce piece of fish, we need more than we think we need. So when we're eating 3 meals a day, at every single meal, we should have between 35 to 45 grams per meal. So when I look for a protein powder, I make sure that the protein source, first of all, is organic and all ingredients are clean. That's first and foremost the first thing that I look at. And then I look at the protein, and the protein has to have a minimum of 25 grams of protein. So, I mean, we can eat anywhere between 10 grams of protein probably per meal, or some of us 10 grams of protein for the entire day, when we should be eating between 25 to 45 grams of protein per day. I think I said 35 to 45 earlier, but we do need more basically than we think we need. So make protein your best friend, and a size of a deck of cards. So you can even measure from the meat of the bottom of the palm of your hand all the way to like the midpoint of your middle finger, depending how big your hands are, and the size of a deck of cards. That's about a 4 to 5 ounce portion of a protein. Let's say a salmon, that's about 25 grams. So if you're looking at how much you're putting on your plate and you're not eating enough protein, then that could be the reason why your body is holding on to X amount of fat, right? Because really it's not about losing quote unquote weight. Technically, and quite frankly, I'm really tired of that word lose weight, but I use it all the time because this is something that we search up on the internet all the time. And I want this to get out into the right hands and have this information processed and know that it's not about losing weight. Guys, it's really about losing fat, right? Gaining more muscle. And that's another episode, but it's about losing fat. Helping you to lose more fat, it has a lot to do with how much protein you're actually eating. So you can work out your little heart's content all you want, and you're breaking down all this protein. And if you're not replenishing that protein or having the right amounts or the right kinds, especially in our age group, in our 40s, then you're going to be definitely doing more hurtful things to your body than helpful. Okay, moving on to the fourth tip. So the fourth tip that you should be eating in your 40s to lose weight and stay healthy is this is something that you already know, okay? I'm just going to share it because we keep needing to be reminded about this, is to drink enough water. Now, if you don't like the taste of water, then infuse it with fruit for your taste buds to have more variety. But we need to drink enough water, not just hydration, like the water in your coffee or the water in your tea or the water in your juice. No, water, pure H2O. Do a water assessment on yourself and estimate how many ounces a day are you drinking. So what you should ideally be drinking is your weight in pounds. So take that number. Let's say you're 150 pounds. You're going to divide that in 2, and that will equal 75. And then just put ounces at the end. So you basically, again, take your weight in pounds, divide that in 2, and that number would be the amount of ounces that you need to drink of water. So again, taking a 150-pound woman and dividing that in 2 would be 75 ounces of water, which equals approximately 9 cups of water. So the large flasks that we have carrying around, that's approximately 32 ounces, guys. So you basically just need just under 2 complete flasks, not even a whole 2 complete ones. If you do 2 whole complete ones, then good for you because you're actually hydrating a little bit more. But wherever you are now, I want you to calculate, guesstimate, take track of how much you're taking in now. And let's say you only drink 6 cups a day versus 8 cups a day. And you want to get to 8. We want to get there in a progression. We don't want to just try to drink 8 cups or 9 cups. We want to do it in a progressive fashion. So that's the reason why I want you to first write down, figure out how much you're drinking. If you're drinking 4 cups today, then write down 4 cups. And then, let's say if your body, whatever your calculation is on ounces, let's say it equals, you need 8 cups, right? So from 4 to 8 cups, we want to progressively get you there. And the way to do that is to add half a cup every single week extra until you reach your 8 cups or whatever your number is. Again, if water is not something that you can't stand and you're like, I need my coffee, I need my tea, guys, this is one of those non-negotiables, okay? So that's really going to help you to factor in all the different extra things that we're doing or maybe not doing enough. That's why I said number 4 is drink enough water, not just drink water. Like when I tell my son, you need to drink more water. He's like, okay, I did drink water. And I go and look and he's like, oh, it's like half a Dasani bottle from the store. He bought himself water at the store and it's like half the bottle or whatever. But it's not enough, guys. We need to drink enough water. So do your calculation and figure out what you need and progressively move up to your goal, about half a cup per week extra until you reach your goal. Again, infuse it with fruit for variety if you're just bored, if you just can't stand the water by itself. So to recap, what is your healthy? That's the first thing. Figure out what is healthy. Right, take note, have a food log, have a food journal, however is best for you to take note of or to keep track of all your food intake and see whether or not are you constipated, are you bloated, are you gassy, are you feeling horrible, then maybe your body's not tolerating it, right? Number 2 is to track your carbs and your fruit. Remember that fruit is sugar too. And remember the 1, 2, and 3, morning, breakfast, and dinner, 1 serving, 2 servings, 3 servings of carbs. Number 3, make protein your best friend. We want at least 35 to 45 grams per meal. Try to get your 3 meals in a day. And protein can be consumed with protein powder. Okay, so that's one of the easiest things that you can do. And then number 4 is to drink enough water. So those are the 4 tips that you should eat in your 40s to lose weight and to stay healthy. Remember, there are many other things that we can look at. We can look at fiber. We can look at low and slow carbs. We can look at our fat intake, our supplements, toxins. So many things we're not going to be able to cover in this episode, but stress, are you laughing enough? Are you doing things that bring you joy? Are you still in toxic environments? What kind of relationships are you in? These things contribute to stress, which also holds on to fat. Also, the type of exercise that you're doing, the sleep quality, how to stay asleep. Are you not sleeping? Are you not staying asleep long enough? And all these things that we look at are all customized to you. And these are things we look at with me as your Christian health coach. So that's it for today's episode. Thanks for hanging out with me on this episode on what should you eat in your 40s to lose weight and stay healthy. See you on the next episode, my sisters. And until then, stay courageous and stay fit. Hey, sisters. Are you ready to get healthy and create habits that stick and stay partnered with God in the process? It's time to get healthy and create habits that stick so you can feel comfortable in your body. Learn how to be a healthy version of yourself. Identify what's robbing you of having energy. Create a plan so you can finally make time to exercise. And identify what foods are good for you in midlife. Getting healthier is easier than you think when you allow God to lead the way. Imagine if you were healthy because you had habits that stuck. You knew how to keep from gaining the weight back. You had the energy to go outdoors and play with your kids. You had time to be consistent with your workouts. You had healthy meals prepped before the kids came home from school. And imagine if you felt more comfortable and confident about your body and you put on whatever you felt like wearing without worrying about your weight. Book your 1-hour Christian health coaching call, and together we will bust through your limiting beliefs, map out simple habits that stick, create a simple health plan God's way, map out energy boosters for you as a woman over 40, and replace and pray over the changes you'll be making. If you're ready to get healthy and create habits that stick, feel comfortable, and have more energy in your 40s God's way, then I am your coach. Email me at jacqueline@courageousfitfemale.com because as soon as these spots are gone, they're gone. So stop what you're doing, go to your email, and tell me in the subject line, I'm ready to get healthy and feel comfortable in my body God's way. I'm super excited to partner with God in your health journey. So let's get you set up already. That's Jacqueline, Jaclyn, @courageousfitfemale.com.